What is up, YouTube? It is Die Hard here. Now, I know you might have saw my last video where it was called Bitches Talking Shit, or whatever I called it. Anyways, this is the changeover, okay? So I had a match with Hollywood Ron. And the last time I played Hollywood Ron, I believe was on 2010. It might have been on 2011 that we've had one match, I think, maybe. Not 100% sure. But I believe it was on 2010. Anyways, so Hollywood Ron runs his own league called RCW, and it's on the Xbox 360. It's a simulation league, and me and Ron never talked in a party, like in an Xbox party before. We just, did whatever. It was just like the match we played was competitive, and I told him, I was like, nobody likes competitive, But he was really cool. We were talking, and we wanted to do this match. We hadn't gotten the opportunity to do a match in a long time, a couple of years at least. And so I figured for this one match, I would take Die Hard out of his retirement, put him in a match against Hollywood Ron, and I think you guys are gonna like the result. And this isn't one of those venting videos, okay? I'm not gonna try to be mean to anybody, but yeah, I enjoyed this match yesterday with Ron. It was fun as hell. There wasn't no storyline to it. I mean, just the storyline was just two old dudes, brawling, and Die Hard being the old geezer that he is, wrinkles on the forehead, the sexy man beast that Die Hard is. It is what it is. And I told Ron he can upload it on his channel as well, so it's probably gonna appear here and on his, or maybe on the RCW channel, or else on his own personal channel, whatever he wants to do. It's up to him. It's on Creative Commons for this. So, but yeah. So I want you guys to kind of sit back and relax and just listen to me talk. Just the kind of state of the leagues and feds type ordeals, and what I would recommend to young upstart feds and leagues that are looking for their YouTube break or looking to do things on YouTube. What they should do to, be wary of things, and what they should avoid and not avoid, all at the same time. And I say this because, Ron, like I said, I've known him for a while. Recently we got added to each other's friends list, but we've known each other for quite a while. And the main thing that I would always advise, and I say this because of the longevity of how long I've been doing this and how many different people, numerous different people, that I've worked with, the various hundreds of people. The biggest pet peeve is you have to have the thick skin. And that's what I was telling Ron yesterday. I was like, you got to have thick skin. It doesn't matter if you're just starting out, if you've been doing it for 6 years, 4 years, 3 years, a year, whatever. You got to have thick skin, because if you don't, well, then, you let every little thing bother you. And when you let every little minuscule thing start bothering you, it puts you in a state of mind where you're like, oh, well, people aren't liking me and things like that. And match psychology, like it doesn't matter how good your matches are. If people don't like you, they're just gonna give you negativity. And that's what I was telling Ron, but that doesn't matter. And the negativity is gonna come regardless. And it's one of those things. I mean, this is a kind of long video, so I might stumble on my words a little bit because I'm talking on Skype as well. But when you're trying to branch out and be different, because everybody wants to be different. When you're trying to be different compared to what other places are doing, it's a gamble. Like, sometimes it's a good gamble. Other times you can go bankrupt on that shit, because, you got people that will like you, people that are going to hate you, And I'm not saying that's what I do, because that's not what I do. I don't try to reinvent the wheel or anything like that. I mean, once in a while we do something that other places don't do, for the power plant. But that's like what I was telling Ron. I was like, don't try to reinvent the wheel, just unless you know for sure that it's going to work, don't try to reinvent it, because that can kill you. It can be the end of everything you've built up, everything you've done. And, a big shout out to the RCW guys. I can't wait to start seeing their full shows. I cannot wait to start hearing them with commentary and everything else. I'm excited. I like Ron. I like the guys in RCW. They all seem like really cool guys. And, just there's no bullshit. We were all hanging out in a party during this match, and it was a good time. It was fun. and me and Ron had fun in this match. You know, we were laughing at each other, you know, during the match and making fun of Die Hard being so old. And if only they had like an actual Ric Flair looking body type, I'd probably put that on Die Hard, to be honest, make him look all wrinkly. Die Hard's very in shape to be 43 years old in games. So, but yeah, I mean, like I was saying, I recommend like I said, my biggest pet peeve, thick skin. You gotta have the thick skin, otherwise you will not survive, regardless. And whether like I said, whether you've been doing this a long time or not, you will not survive if you don't have thick skin. You have to have thick skin. And another thing, for these startups, you know, there's all kinds of different leagues and feds out there. There's multiple variations of YouTube leagues and feds. Some of you will never put up a full show. It'll be like you'll separate it into the matches, you know, and then maybe add like the cutscenes in between them. That's fine, you know. But if you're going to do that, make sure to add annotations in the video to direct people back and forth between the different parts. Otherwise, they may get lost. You know what I'm saying? So if you're going to do the league stuff, thick skin, of course, and be wary and make sure to really try out the people that you're going to have on your show. Because if you want your show to be as good as it possibly can, you know, then you want to make sure that you can work well with the people you're working with. And we don't know why I went to the top rope there. I was going to go off the ropes, but it sent me to the top rope. I blame THQ for that one. But anyways, so make sure that the people you're going to work with are people that you want to work with for a long time. Because if you find people that are really good, you know, at first, you know, they're really good to you and stuff at first, but then all of a sudden they start turning into shady backstabbers, well, those aren't the kind of people you want to work with. Those are just not the people that you want to work with at all. And I was telling that to Ron too. I will tell it to anybody who asks. You know, make sure you're gonna work with people that you can see yourself working with for a long time. I've made the mistake myself of working with people that I unfortunately shouldn't have ever worked with, but I worked with them more than once, or I worked with them for extended periods of time, and it goof-arbed everything. It ruined everything. And unfortunately, that's something I'll have to live with for the rest of my life. I mean, for that one person, they may not have thought that they had a negative impact on things, but they did, you know. But that's what it is, and you have to, as a Fed head, you know, that's what I am. I'm a Fed head, you know. That's what anybody who owns a league. You are the league owner. You're the league head, the Fed head, whatever you want to call yourself, the boss. You're that guy. So you want to make sure that the people you are working with are worthwhile. I mean, yeah, they may be your best friend. Okay, you might be best friends down since day one, but then you kind of start doing the favorites thing, and nobody likes somebody who plays favorites. You know, that's just the way it is. I mean, I'm guilty of playing favorites before. I know I am. I've admitted it numerous times. And if anybody says that they've never played favorites, they're full of shit, because you always try to put your best people forward. I just bit my lip. But I just talked about this on Twitter, as I just had Billings tweet this out like a day and a half ago. You know, asked if there was double standards in call leagues. And of course there is. I mean, no doubt about it. People want to always put over their most, you know, their best people, of course, or the people that are going to draw in the most attention to them. And it's a vicious cycle that we go through with leagues, but it's the truth. But another tip, I guess, is don't, like, okay, I look at it like this. If you want to have a weekly show, unless you know that you can keep up with that schedule, don't do it if you can't keep up with the schedule. Like, don't say, we're going to have a weekly show, and then don't keep up with the schedule. You know, don't come and say, oh, well, we had errors. I understand that there were, you know, with the technology we work with today, yes, things do mess up. Things, you know, go wrong. Video capture devices stop working, the screen tears and stuff. Just don't say you're going to be a weekly league or fed, or don't try to boast that to people when in reality it's not, right? That's one thing you really, really want to make sure of, is not to say, well, we're going to be a weekly show, and then, you know, 2 months before you upload your first show. That's not good. That gives you bad publicity. And don't be a place that says that you're going to give the best show you can and have your show be like once every 6 months. kind of like one of those one places. I'm like I said, I'm not name dropping in this one. The only place I'm going to recommend people to go check out is RCW, because these guys are coming up, they're looking good, and I like it. I mean, right now they're trying to figure out the screen tear issues that they're having with the Hauppauge, but they will get it figured out, you know, and it's more likely a processing issue, so that'll get taken care of, and at that point, then their shit will be perfect, you know, and then all they'll have to do next is just commentary. But yeah, so don't try to brag or boast saying you're going to be a weekly show and don't do it. Don't do that, because that's not good. And you might be asking yourself, why are you doing this on this video with Hollywood Ron? I'm doing this for the simple fact that nobody else does it from other leagues. Everybody, like that's the thing. Like me and Ron, we connect because we're old dudes, you know? Like we're not like super duper old guys, you know? We're not in our 60s, you know, but we connect because we know that, you know, it's fun doing that competitive stuff at first, you know, for a little bit. Everybody comes from that competitive scene at one point in time, but what do you do after you beat the best player in the game, you know? And it's just kind of like that. I mean, we were joking about Rebel kicking our asses, you know? Again, I'm giving Rebel another shout out in my video. But anyways, no other league or fed does this. They don't make a video to help those of you that are trying to start, because they're afraid of competition. I think that everybody who wants to be a league or fed head, do it. If you think you can bring something new to the table, something interesting, do it, please. We want to see it. Myself, Ron, we want to see that. We want to see what you can do. And if that means we have to help you along the way, you know, to get there, then so be it. I'm not afraid to help somebody out. Just, you know, don't take my help for granted. Don't take advantage of it. Don't try to be like, oh, well, he helped me, but then now he's a douchebag. You know, don't do that. You know, just be like, you know what, this guy did help me out. Thank you for helping me. I'm not asking you for a shout out. I'm not asking you to sub to my channel or anything like that. I'm just saying, when it comes down to it, just don't talk shit. Just be nice, you know. And don't think that every league and every fed is exactly the same, because they're not. There are a lot of really cool league and fed owners, and a lot of cool league and fed guys. There's a lot of really cool guys in those leagues, and you'll never get to know them if you constantly think that everybody's trying to compete with one another. This is not WCW versus WWF anymore. Okay, that done gone happened a long time ago, so you don't got to worry about that. Okay, that's not going to happen. What you need to do is you need to start making connections with other leagues and feds. You know, it helps you, it helps them. It's a win-win for both sides, as long as you play it out the right way and you don't, you know, you be humble about it. You don't act like a complete dingle douche and, you know, be a bad guy. You be nice. You know, real life is not a promo, okay? That's the thing. And you want to connect with these people and get positive reinforcement from them, because you never know what could happen. And, you know, this matchup is almost wrapping up. And like I said, I just, you know, I want you guys to realize that not every fed head or league head is a bad, mean guy. I'm not going to go out of my way to talk crap about somebody. You know, if somebody says something to me in a negative aspect, yeah, I'll respond. You know, because that's human nature. You respond to negativity. But stay positive. You know, don't get overwhelmed. Don't get down on yourself. I mean, if you only get 5 views on your show, that's 5 views that, you know, maybe somebody else isn't getting. So that's something that you want to have, you know, and it'll grow. It will grow. Believe me, if you just stay consistent, it will grow. It will happen. You know, it may take a while, but it will happen. And, you know, this video is wrapping up, literally. There's, I think, like 40 seconds left. But yes, that's kind of what I got for you guys. You know, have thick skin, work with people you can see yourself working with in the future, and, of course, be humble. Those are the 3 big things that you need to do to be, you know, semi-successful at anything you do. And I say that in all real life aspects, even beyond the CAW leagues and the Fed leagues. But as you see here, diehard job to Hollywood Ron. But all right, guys, so I will see you guys next time. I am Diehard, and I am out.